Let's go ahead and give this over to Eddie San Roman.
No, you stay right here with me. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. We have the honor of having with us Christy Denny's, not only someone from the Realtor Association of Miami that's going to be giving us so much information, but also someone that I love dearly and worked with us for many years here. And so we love to have her back in our building, and she loves to be here with us. She's going to be doing multiple classes throughout the year with us, giving you these type of tidbits of different information that will be fantastic for all of you to learn from someone of her magnitude and of her training skills. So I thank you all for being here with us today. We're doing this live, so we have some live folks here with us. And then we're also doing the Zoom class for all of you out there. The class is being recorded, so it will be available later on for you to be able to download it and look at it at your leisure. It'll also be up on our website. In the Resource Center, I will put the class up there for all of you to see it. So Christy, with that said, I turn it over to you, and thank you so much for being here. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Eddie. A pleasure being with you guys are here. Thank you for coming. I hear this is one of the first times that you've come back to the office to take a class. So congratulations for coming back. This is a grand pleasure for the Miami Association of Realtors to have me here with you. And it's because of the fantastic relationship that First Service Realty has with the board. So as part of your board, you do have different classes that are available to you. And today's topic is going to be rentals. So we're going to go to miamirealtors.com to get started with class. And then I did want to ask you guys, do you guys work Section 8? Yes or no? All right, guys, if anybody ever asks you if you work Section 8, the answer is yes. You always will say yes. You don't say no. You don't say so. Sometimes you work Section 8. And we are going to show you different places that you can visit inside of the Miami Association of Realtors page. We're going to show you this advocacy section. This advocacy section, if you click on here, you're going to have quite a lot of great information. The first one that I want to talk to you about is going to be about Section 8. You're going to scroll down all the way to the bottom, and you'll have information regarding Section 8 housing choice vouchers. And if you are unfamiliar with the process, this is a great starting point. When you click on here, it's going to give you access to HUD fact sheets, HUD inspection checklists that have to do with Section 8, as well as fair housing rents, payment contract, and a video that's really important that we watch. This video is already available for you guys to watch. If you have never seen Miami Realtors live before, you have it as part of your gateway. Inside of your Miami Gateway, this is the page that I refer to when I say Miami Gateway. This is where you have all of your products and services. So up at the top, you do have Miami Realtors Live. These are all of your educational classes that we have recorded at the association. These are free for you to use. You have 24/7 access to these, and you not only have tutorials and webinars from us, but you also have classes on behalf of your education department. So clicking on here will give you access to these different classes, including, as I circle back, the Section 8 class. So up at the top, how do you use this? You have a search bar, and you can simply begin the title or the subject that you're looking for. In our case, we're looking for Section 8. So you would click on here, and you'll have any classes associated with that topic. To watch it, you would simply click on it. It's already recorded and available. This class is 3 hours, but in order to protect yourselves, your license, your brokerage, your potential customers, Section 8 is very important for you to learn about. And again, when I say, do you work Section 8? You guys say?
Yes.
Yes. Rule 1. All right, guys. So also in the chat, I'm hoping to see a few yeses. So these are available here. Going back into this Section 8 section, I wanted to show you that you do have available fair market rents. These are the rents that HUD has created in order for us to have a reference of what is considered a fair market rent in our market based on bedrooms and baths. Now, it might be a little bit different than what we're seeing on the MLS, but this is what they have provided for us. Scrolling to the middle of the page, you'll have this tab available here that you can click on, and you can sort by state and select your county. So depending on your service area, you would select your state. I'm going to click on Florida, and then under the selected counties, we have a list of all of our counties. So I'm going to scroll down. I can either choose, well, I have Broward here as an example. We're going to select it and tap on next screen to see what we have available here. As I scroll down, this is the breakdown based on zip code with the fair market rents that are available for us. Here you have the price point for an efficiency, a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, and a 4-bedroom. This is what we currently have on behalf of the HUD website that you can always come back to and refer to. Going back into the Section 8 section, I also wanted to show you, if you are unfamiliar with an inspection checklist from HUD, this is where you can find it. So clicking on here will give you access. We have quite a lot of agents who have joined us in person. Welcome. If you've never taken a class with me before, my name is Christy Denny's, and I'm so happy that you guys are here. So here is that inspection checklist that has to do with HUD. So if you've never seen this inspection checklist before, this is a great reference for you. And if you have a customer that's in the process or a landlord that's in the process, this is what that checklist looks like. Okay, you can always reference back to it. Also, under our Section 8 section list, aside from the video, I also want to show you that you do have a housing assistant payment contract that's been assigned to this page. So you don't have to remember everything, but we do want to show you where things are so that you can find it. Now, for those of you who are working with customers who don't speak English, that is a-okay. The HUD website has translated this contract for you in different languages. So a very popular one would be our Spanish one, and it's available here, guys. Moving out of HUD and our initial page, which is under advocacy, we're going to move back into this section, and we want to talk assistant animals. So when it comes to rentals, this is something that you want to verify when you're ever doing a search. You want to verify that that landlord is going to accept a pet. But aside from that, there's also assistant animals that are a little bit different from the pet. So here you have the ability to verify that additional information. So you want to scroll down. When it comes to assistant animals, sometimes that customer can ask for that potential landlord to do additional things to the home to make it a little bit easier for the assistant animal and also for that tenant. And some of those obligations and examples, we're not familiar with them. But I wanted to show you an area where you can find that information. So here you have on the screen examples of some of those obligations of a housing provider, right? And you also have them listed below. Now, if you ever have an issue with an assistant animal and a customer, it's very important that you know where you can file a complaint so you can advocate for your customer. You can also lead them to this website so that they can take those further steps that they need to take to protect themselves, okay? So you don't have to necessarily be the full resource, but it's very important that you can provide them that additional service. Now, inside of miamirealtors.com, I wanted to show you that you have some co-branded pages. How do you find these pages? Using a /. The first one I'm going to show you is co-brands. These are flyers that have already been created for you. Now, do you know all of the different websites that the association will syndicate your listings to once you input them in the MLS? You do have a Miami co-branded page that we've created for you guys, and it shows Miami rentals and leases. As I scroll down, this is the list. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay, do you guys see it bigger on the screen? Yeah. So these are some of the places that that listing will syndicate to. Apartments.com, the app, apartment list, and much more. This is a great page that you can add to any of your presentations. Now, aside from that, you have additional verbiage that you can share with your property owners, your tenants, And then when they list with you, you again have that list. Aside from that, your properties are syndicated into RPR. It's Realtor Property Resource, which is a great program. But when it syndicates there, we're sharing your data with more than 260 different MLSs. So when they list with you, you guys are advertising on a big scale. Okay, so this is a great form that you can use. Let's jump into our Miami Gateway and let's go ahead and select Matrix. Here is our Matrix icon. So this is Matrix. So when we begin searching for a rental, I see a lot of you are experienced, but some of you are new. You're going to select your property type under search. You do have it available here. Your RNT residential rental is a place that you can find rentals. On the commercial side, you can also select commercial improved in order for you to find additional properties that are for lease. Now, what is the difference? Anything above 4 units is now considered onto the commercial side. So depending on who you're working with, I would suggest these two searches for rentals. Also, if you've never done commercial rentals, please ask assistance from your brokerage or a mentor who has. So clicking on Rent Residential Rental will give us access to the screen where we can find rental information. At this time, I have selected active, coming soon, and active with a contract. These are your automatic selected fields when you begin your search. In today's class, we are going to be talking about stats up at the top when it comes to rentals. And then we're also going to be talking about okay to advertise. Let me know if you are aware of what okay to advertise is. Someone else can advertise your listing. Excellent. So we do, and we are aware of what it is. So we're going to be doing a favorite search inside of Matrix in order for us to be able to locate properties that are for rent that we can advertise, that both the broker and the listing agent have agreed to that it is okay for you to do that. Aside from that, we're going to be using a program called Agent 3000 in order for us to do one example. So inside of Matrix, the first step that we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way down, and under additional fields, we're going to tap on add or remove. This is going to open up an additional menu where we can add additional fields to our main page. From here, you're going to search okay to advertise. As you input that verbiage, you'll have it available. You'll want to click on here. And once you click on here, you're going to tap on add. When you tap on add, it'll be available as one of your selected fields. Once you see that it's moved into your selected fields, you can tap on back, scroll down, and it's now going to be part of these additional fields towards the bottom. Now, what are the options that you have under okay to advertise? You have no, and no is no, so that's not what we're interested in. You also have yes, attribution not required. What is attribution? Attribution is the credit. So basically a short little sentence that says courtesy of FSR, well, First Service Realty ERA is enough of an attribution. Normally you can advertise what's your listing, in some cases what's part of your brokerage, but anything outside of that, you'd have to ask for additional permission. Now, if you select yes, attribution not required, that means that the broker and the listing agent both agreed, you can advertise my listing and my brokerage doesn't need credit. So from here, you also have yes, attribution required. That means, yes, you can advertise my listing. You don't have to ask me permission. We already said yes, but you have to put the credit to the broker, meaning courtesy of XYZ Realty, somewhere inside of your post. Easy peasy. Then, as you can see, I have 43 matches. I'm going to select none and select the one where attribution is not required. I have 122 matches. These are 122 properties that I can advertise that are either active, coming soon, or active with a contract. From here, I can do two things. You can either decide to view these listings on a map. So I'm going to tap on the map grid. your criteria, your map, and your results work seamlessly together. And I'm going to zoom in and I'll have my properties. Now, why am I in here? Based on the areas that I'm comfortable working, I can go ahead and select the properties that I want to advertise in this way. This is for visual agents that like to see everything and where they're willing to drive if someone's interested. Another option you can do is tap on your results. This will give you your results grid. You have 122 matches here, which is quite a lot. On the right-hand side, on the top, you see where it says 25? At this time, I can only see 25 results. If I click on this drop-down, I now have access to at least 100 of those results. The way that I like to do it from the results grid is to tap on my subdivision information. So I have my subdivision information all the way to the right, and I can tap on SN for subdivision, and then I'll have all of the subdivision information together. So if you wanted to do a marketing for a community, this is a great way that you've already organized everything. Now, aside from that, for those of you who are not familiar, you can customize this grid. So if you wanted to move subdivision, you can simply select it and drag. This will give me subdivision information right where I need to see it so I can do my advertising. Aside from that, you could do another step further. Let's say I only want to see okay to advertise listings for rents in the area that I work. I don't care about the other areas. I focus in Coral Gables. So what you would do is you would input criteria. You would scroll down and simply select your city. Once I input Coral Gables, you're going to select that information. And at this time, I have 2 where attribution is not required. You can also select if you wanted attribution required and see if I have any more. I do not. But with these 2, that's fine. I'm going to check on my results. And then from here, let's take a look at what these look like. So I'm going to click on here. All right, these pictures look nice. This is advertisable, right? Like I could advertise this. It's going to make me look good. Now, as far as your own listings, if you don't have beautiful pictures, people might not advertise your listing. Aside from that, consider all of the properties that you actually list as part of your resume. Because at one point or another, you are going to want to show people how you've marketed their properties. And if the pictures aren't nice, that's going to be a reflection on you. Also, you want high, big quality pictures. Hi, James, welcome. One of your office managers, James, has arrived as well. And then towards the bottom, let's check on number 2. This is nice. So you have 2 really good options. Now that I have 2 really good options, let's select them. Let's save this search, right? And then you can click on New Save Search. And now every time that I want to pull this, I can. And I'm going to call it Coral Gables, okay to advertise. And then if I wanted to, I can save it. But I want to take a next step further. I want to make it part of my favorites. So I'm going to tap on Enable a Favorite Search, and then I want to tap on Save. What is the difference? When you go into Matrix, you'll have a widget that's called My Favorite Searches. That means you can jump into the system. I'll wake up, I'll be like, okay, I want to do some advertising, and I can click on here. If you save it as a regular search, you'll have to do additional steps, which means I'll have to go into search, into my matrix, tap on Save Searches, and then sort it based on my last run or the name of the search. So the favorite search is easier. And also when you log in, it'll motivate you to prospect. Now let's do an okay to advertise example using Agent 3000. If you have used Agent 3000 before, hands up. 1. That's perfect. That means that it's going to be a brand new product. And let's see inside of the chat. Is anybody familiar with Agent 3000? Let's see. In the meantime, I'm going to go into the Miami Gateway and show it to you. So as I scroll down, this is the icon for Agent 3000. I'm going to click on here. And the first step that you want to do when it comes to any of your products and services is to customize the information. So you're going to tap on this green button. These are your settings. You're going to click on here and you want to make sure that all of your details are filled out. You want to put in your name, your company name, the address of your brokerage, your office phone number, your cell phone. If you have a fax, your email, and of course, if you have your website or web page, input that information inside of the web page. When it comes to logo, you're going to tap up at the top, input your logo. This is all of your branding. It will not populate or look pretty if you don't have this information. You're also going to input your photo simply by choosing this file and uploading it from your computer. And then, of course, any additional notifications and lead routing, we don't have to worry about in this class. So I'm going to tap on close. And once you're finished, we're going to talk about some of the programs and services that you have available. The first one that I want to talk to you about is the single property website. So I'm going to tap on here and it's going to open up Agent 3000 for me. The option of creating an entire web page or website for a property. Now, this is amazing in two ways. The first way is it's very easy to use. The second way is if anybody comes across your web page or your social media, they can see, wow, that agent really advertises in a really nice way. So we're going to move back into Matrix, move into my favorites. Okay, to advertise. And then I'm going to take the MLS number. The one that we liked was the first one. So in order for this system to work, there is one rule. You need an MLS number that begins with an A. We share data with other associations. So there's other numbers that you're going to see. So you want to make sure that it starts with an A. Once you've selected that, you're going to go into Agent 3000 and you're going to input that MLS number. You're going to give the system a second to pull it. Clicking on this bar will give us access to pasting in that MLS, and we're going to let it search. And now it populated, so we're going to select it. We're going to accept the terms because we selected OK to advertise. We're then going to select agree, and now we've created all of these different websites in a few seconds. So from here, you can always copy your URL, but let's take a look at some of the websites. I'm going to show you my favorite. My favorite is the one with the black header. So here we've created a lovely website. All we needed was an MLS number, and it looks very professional, looks very beautiful. And we did it in seconds, and we can share it because it's okay to advertise. You have all of your pictures and you have your menu up at the top. You have your home details, your pricing and features, description details, amenities on this property, interior features, the photos, and a virtual tour. If they want to contact you, they can, and they'll have map information as well. As we scroll through the website, you have all of the details, our rental information, all of the amenities. You have the remarks. You also have the initial photo, the amenities. Everything is very clean. It's very bright. It's easy to read. And it ends with photos of the property. And that's why we want to make sure that we select a property with very lovely photos because we are very visual. And then you have your contact information. So that's good that we did our branding. You have your image, your contact details, and if they want, they can actually request information directly to you and they can submit the request. Aside from that, they have a map where the property is located. They have a map view. They also have a satellite view, and they're able to see any points of interest in the surrounding area. Towards the bottom, if you decided that you wanted to do an OK to advertise and you wanted to select attribution required, Agent 3000 goes and does a legal notice for you. So you can see here, they've covered your back. Okay, so they put MLS listing courtesy up. So if you wanted to select both, have more results, and still be okay and doing everything legally, you have a notice here. Very cool, very easy to use, very easy to share. Now you have your link up at the top. This link, you can go to your social media if you wanted to. You can go to a business page and you can post it. Now, for those of you who have business pages, but like to post on their personal pages, you can get in trouble with Facebook with that. So if you're posting business things on your personal pages, you can have a big issue with that. They will lock your account. Do they always catch you? No, but once they catch you, you are going to lose all of your different contacts. But a workaround that you can do is you can originate the post inside of your business page and then share to personal. And this way, this is kind of like a little loophole. You can post, you can get the attention that you need. And then an update on our business pages is that Facebook is going to be changing the algorithms on your business page. Moving back to Agent 3000, you do have the template 2, which is a white header. So it's very similar to the other one, but it has a white header. So whatever you find and you like best, you have 2 options either way. Very easy to do. Now that we know how to do the single property website, let's talk about doing a listing collage post. So under social media tools, you have many options that you can use on social media. The first one that I'm going to select is the listing collage post. Very easy to use, guys. We already have an MLS number. Go back into Matrix, pull my MLS number, paste my MLS ID that starts with an A, and give it a second. Select it, accepting terms, pressing I agree. And now all of the pictures are already inputted into the system for you. It's pulled everything and you can further customize it. Now, inputting the pictures into the collage post is very easy. You would simply select it and pull. Select and pull, select and pull, in whatever order you prefer. Now, let's say you don't like picture 2 and you want to change it. All you would have to do is select the replacement and simply put it right on top. Once you've done that, you've completed doing a collage post, you tap on create collage, and we made a really nice thing. It took a second. It's really pretty. I see some smiles. They're here. We're done, and it's easy. Now, the difference when it comes to okay to advertise, when you share it up here, this is how you can share to Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn. You also have the ability to download the screenshot share. If I share it on Facebook, Pinterest, or LinkedIn, I'm sharing it through an IDX. That's Internet Data Exchange, and that means that I can share it without having to ask for permission. That means it doesn't even have to be okay to advertise because you are sharing. It could be any listing on the MLS that says internet yes, because they've already agreed for it to be on the internet. But when it comes to okay to advertise, if you want to download the screenshot and post it on Instagram, it does have to be okay to advertise. Why? Because this is a stagnant JPEG with no information. So that means you're at liberty to put in whatever information you want. It can be active on your page however long. Of course, if it's not, you want to take it down or indicate that it's been sold, but you'd have to take these additional steps, and that's why it has to be okay to advertise. To download is easy. Click here to download the screenshot. Let's open it up, and here you have it. You can simply select it, save the JPEG, and this is great for Instagram, for example, because Instagram doesn't allow you to share links. You can only do pictures. But when it comes to sharing to Facebook, it's easy. Tap on Facebook. It's always going to take you to your personal page. You always want to use the drop-down arrow and select the pages that you manage. Input whatever verbiage you want. You never want to claim it as your own. That's not your listing. You don't want to say, hey, check out my beautiful new listing that I got yesterday. You don't want to put anything like that. You want to just put, ask me for information, a little bit about the community, contact me for details, things like that. Ask a question if you want to create engagement. Input your message. And after you do so, simply post to Facebook and you are advertising rentals. So this is a great way for you to do all of these different aspects using okay to advertise and your rentals. So I hope you guys like that. And then to wrap up, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do a flyer. So I'm gonna click on the flyer option. You have a few different flyers that you can do. So you know what, let's do the for rent. So I'm gonna tap on here. Very easy. We already know all we need is an MLS number. So we're gonna go back into Matrix, make sure I have it. Tap on Agent 3000, input that MLS number, accept our terms. The pictures populate for us. If you want to see the pictures towards the end, you have a bar that you can pull, and then simply drag the images that you'd like to add into your flyer. And I think this one's better. Okay. So from here, we have a few options. We have do not show the address. I want to show the address, so I'm not going to click on here. You also have do not show the price. I'm going to not click that. And then you have the selection between just listed, just sold, and for rent. I'm going to select for rent. And then you have two options here. We're going to do both options. The first one is going to be add a photo profile. This is your information. We're going to select a background on our flyer. So we're going to select the image, and then we're going to pick, let's do light gray and blue, and then select the information. I'm going to keep it as is. And then towards the bottom, you have different ways that you can post it. If you wanted to do on the Internet Data Exchange, it's post to social media. It'll give you a link. If you want to put it as part of a presentation or you want to print it out, select a PDF. And if you want to post it on your social media like Instagram, you're going to do a JPEG. So let's do a JPEG as an example. And so far, if you guys have any questions, slow me down, make me stop. We'll do it again. Let me know. So here you have it. I did it in seconds. It's easy.
It's easy for you.
Is it easy for you guys? If you have a laptop, you should be following. Have you clicked on Agent 3000? Have you used any of the features?
I clicked on it today.
He's like, I clicked on it today. That's a great first step. But once you have an MLS number and okay to advertise and you get used to it, you can build these out, okay? And you can post them and they're very nice. We have an image here, your contact information. Let's do one more flyer, but with a QR code. So apparently the QR code has been around since 1992. But it got really popular in the last 2 years. I had the comeback of the century was the QR code. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use that QR now that people are familiar with it. So instead of the image, let me see if I make it a little bit bigger. I'm gonna select add QR code. And if you have your phones, you can open up your phones and we're going to be able to see the additional information that you get. And then we're going to create that JPEG. So I'm going to tap on here and then you have that QR code. That would replace your picture. So you have to make a decision if you want a picture or a QR code. Also, if you are part of Zoom, you can always hover your phone and then you guys can see it as well. So very easy to do, very cool. And let's jump into the next option. So if we do have an Agent 3000 class, we can learn additional features about okay to advertise, as well as creating landing pages on your social media and talking about lead capture. So moving into Matrix. So inside of your market watch, this is a great way that you can have an idea of what's happening inside of your market the second that you log in. Now you can do this using different property types, but we're going to focus on the residential rental. And what you're looking at this moment is everything that's happening in Southeast Florida. That's in Miami-Dade and Broward County and Palm Beach and St. Lucie, and in Martin County is all of the information that you're seeing here. So it's a lot of activity. A better way of using your market watch is to customize it to your farming area. So is there a specific city that somebody has as a farming area? Do you have one? You put Doral? Okay, so we can do the example of Doral. We're going, everyone's from Doral. Awesome. So let's customize to Doral. Tapping on Doral will give you access to customizing here. Now you can select a type of property if you want to focus on a specific type. But for me, the Market Watch is excellent to have an overview. So all I'm going to do is input Doral, select the city of Doral, and then tap on save. This is going to give me access to all of the different information that's happening in Doral regarding rentals. Aside from that, you can choose how you customize it in time. So if I click on here, the drop-down arrow, I'll have access to what's happening in the last 24 hours, in the last, well, today, in the last 3 days, or in the last week. This will give me access to what's coming soon, what's new on the market, what's back on the market, if the price has been decreased on any of these properties, increased, anything that's active with a contract, cancels. You have pending, rented, temporary off the market, withdrawn, and expired. So let's say I had a campaign that I was doing, right, for properties that have been expired, and I wanted to work on these. You can always tap on here. You'll have access to the details. You can always select your MLS number to have a full view. You also are able to see the history. So tapping on the MLS, you'll have access. Additional options are up at the top that you can explore. You can see the listing agent, some of the remarks, some of the history that this property has gone through before you target them. But this is a great way to keep your thumb on what's happening. If you want to go back to your form, you can tap on the expired, and you'll have access to the Market Watch from this screen. So I looked at what's expired. Now I want to know what's new on my market. So I'm going to click on here, and you'll have this grid, and you'll be able to see all of the information that's happening. Great way to know what's going on in your market at all times. People want to work with the expert, okay? Also, it's very easy to do. So once you set it up, you can, of course, click on this drop down and set it up for all the property types, right? So that you have an idea of what's going on. Now, additional information that I want to show you, statistics. An additional option up at the top, these are your stats. You can click on here, and you'll have access to system preset stats. These are statistics that have already been created for you. All you would have to do is select the criteria. So one of my favorites is average days on market versus list price, median. Then from here, I like to choose that I'm interested in residential rental, for example, and I like to keep this statistic a little broad. So I'm going to select Miami-Dade County. We are able to see the average fair market rents on the HUD website. Now let's take a look at what they're looking at in Miami-Dade County on the MLS. So from here, you can tap on generate, and it's going to give you access to the statistic. From here, you do have a graph that will populate for you. You have your green line. These are days to sell. Right, so we've seen that significantly has dropped, and then we have your list price, which is your blue line. Now you can always update your search criteria to really focus that in, whether you want to work with a single family rental, or if it has to be a certain size, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, to get a better stat on there. But I wanted to give you a broad review because under data, you have it month over month, year over year with those days to sell median and that list price median for rentals. And as you scroll down, we can see how it's increased year over year, right? It ends just this year, January 2022, at 3,500 is the average in Miami-Dade with 18 days on the market. But here, this is a great way that you can do this. Also, to get familiar with an area, you also have your historic count of active listings, historic sales count by year. I love this a lot for our sales, but you can also apply it to our rentals. All right, guys, let me know if we're all here, because in part 2, we're going to be talking about short-term rentals. Well, the short-term rental, unfortunately, we don't have an Airbnb feature, right? We don't have a search. We don't have a search or a field where you can just select Airbnb and all of those short-term rentals are gonna come in. There is kind of like a runaround that you have to do when it comes to short-term rentals. And a great way for you to do that is for you to look up seasonal rentals already. And if you want to focus in your farming area, then you get to know the buildings, the apartments, and the communities in your farming area and get to know the different buildings. Now, the best and most secure way to find out if a building allows short-term rentals is by actually communicating with that condo association. Yes, you can see it inputted in the MLS, but we said the safest and the most secure, right, is to actually receive that information directly from the association. Also, it could be that you've seen it listed as short-term, as it being an option, but listings in the MLS live in the MLS after they've expired or been withdrawn or canceled. They're in the MLS for 10 years. So you want to make sure that you are current in the information. The association has different rules, they have different regulations, and they can change them depending on what's been voted in, what's been voted out. So you always want to confirm. How do you find short-term rentals? Inside of your search, you have your rental option that you want to select, and you want to focus and scroll down to where it says styles. You have the difference between an annual rental and a seasonal rental. And this is basically the best way in order for you to find these short-term rentals. You want the different property types. You have your single family seasonal. You have your single family condo, single family apartment. So the difference between a condo and an apartment is basically the ownership of that. And sometimes when an agent inputs that information, they'll input it under an apartment instead of a condo, or a condo instead of an apartment. They sometimes don't know the difference. So you always want to select both just so that you don't miss any results. So aside from that, we're going to scroll down. And of course, you have your duplexes, your townhouses, etc. So if you are doing short term, you want to focus on seasonal. That's as easy as it can get. And then from there, you'll have your additional results. So I want to focus on apartments and condos for now, because we're talking seasonal. From there, I have my active coming soon and active with a contract. I'm going to leave it as active. Towards the bottom, I have my matches that are available, and I want to focus in a specific area. So we're going to select Aventura as an example. I have 35 matches that are available. So from here, I'm going to tap on my results, and we have our subdivision information that we have in order. Okay. And then from here, you have the details of this MLS. So to find out more details, again, you'd have to do the work of previewing this information. Okay, and communicating with the association regarding these short terms. If you already see that properties in a specific building have short-term rentals, that's a good indicator that they're going to allow it in the future when you list it. Why else would you want to know about short-term rentals? What if you're working with an investor and what they want to do is a short-term rental? This is a great way that you can do that additional exercise or have this information in your pocket when they ask. You should have it either way, being that you want to specialize in an area. I also wanted to show you that an easy way to find quite a lot of information about condos is going to be using My Condo Plans. We're going to click on here. You will have quite a lot of details about a specific condo. For example, if the property is listed, you'll have the MLS number, if it's active, what units it is in, the name of the building. So this is a great way for you to learn not only the names, but the addresses. So as a local expert in an area, get familiar with your condos, with your apartments, know the names, know the addresses. You also have access to details like the unit sizes, bedrooms, baths for this specific unit. You'll have images, but more importantly, you'll have building information. So if you are not familiar with a building, this is a great start. You're able to see the number of units, how many active listings are in the building, what the inventory is that's for sale. You can also see if there has been any activity in that building. So you're able to see the number of sales in the last 12 months, in the last 6 months, and in the last 3 months. So if you're interested in cornering a condo or getting familiar with a condo, the activity that's happening there is really important. It's a great tell to figure out whether it's a good business decision to make it part of your farming area. As I scroll down, you also are going to have the name of the association with a phone number. So you can actually give them a call and ask them, what are your rules? What are your regulations? What can you send me? Do you accept short-term rentals? I have a possible customer, X, Y, Z, right? So towards the bottom, you also have market information about your condo, and it's going to compare your specific building to Aventura. It's going to give you the breakdown of price per square feet. And towards the bottom, it's also going to compare Aventura to the county. You have your inventory by percentage, and then the average time to close over the last 12 months. I love this for our own information. I also love this as part of a maybe pre-listing package or something I want to share with a buyer, anything that will give them well, I don't want to say the idea, but I want them to see the value that you have that you can offer them. So up at the top, you also have your condo plans. So you're able to see the free view. I'm going to click on here. And from here, you have the floor plan of that building. So this is another additional step of service that you can provide your customer. You can provide them the floor plans. Sometimes when people are looking at pictures, you can't really tell like where that bedroom is. This is a great way that you can add, again, that additional level of service. You can put it as part of your showing package, for example. If you're going on a tour and you're previewing more than one unit in a building, don't worry, I have these for you to preview. Does this even work for you right now? Because people are used to virtual showings, right? They also want to see that. So it's like, give them all the information so they can make a decision. You also have where it's located up at the top. You can see what floor it's on and how many units are on that floor and where it's located in the building or in the community. So if you've never been there before, this is a great way for you to localize it, right? You can always download this. If it is the free version, it'll have like a watermark. Let me show you the download. This is what the paid download looks like. Let me make sure it's sharing. This is what that looks like that you can add. The watermark will be in the middle. And if you do want to pay for it, that PDF report is, I believe, $4. Yeah, $4.95. I don't suggest paying for the condo plan. You have it, it's available for you, but I think the small watermark in the middle, it's okay. I really think it's fine. But it's up to you guys, however you want to do it. Aside from the condo plans that we were previewing, I also want to show you that your condo plans function as an additional resource. So up at the top, I'm going to click on condos. And if I'm here, I want to show you that you have added value here. You can do a quick search based on the building name. But again, if you want to corner a specific market or get to know your farming area, you can use the search based on county. This will give you access to all of the counties in Florida. Let's go ahead and select Miami-Dade. And from here, I have a list of all of the buildings. So if I wanted to get to know these buildings, this is a great way to do that. Now, aside from that, all of Miami-Dade is a very big place, but we can sort it through city. So for example, if I want to get familiar, we were in Aventura. With all of the buildings in Aventura, if I want to farm, then go ahead and select here, and you have all of your names of your buildings. Now, another positive here is that if you have multiple buildings in the same complex, it's going to show you both. So if you have more than one tower, for example, you'll have those details. And if you're interested, we were here on Hidden Drive, but this is a great way for you to corner that. Click on it and you'll have all of the information, including, for example, association details and a link, as well as some building related documents that sometimes you can find. Now, aside from your condo plans, you do have some floor plans for houses. Now, is it as many as our condos? No, but we have been working on it. And by we, I mean my condo plans as a company. And then on the right-hand side, you have some of those stats. So based on the community and where it's located, this will let you know the likelihood of your floor plan being here. So you have your Coconut Creek, there's 39 communities, there's more than 5,000 properties or houses that have floor plans. So this is a great way for you to be able to research that. Now, moving back into this sheet, which is one of our properties that we were selected that was seasonal. Things that you want to look at is going to be not only your list price, but it's also going to be whether it's being listed, whether that's going to be weekly, monthly, or yearly. You also have the ability to see when it becomes available and if it's furnished or not furnished. These are all important things that you want to verify inside of a rental before you make that decision to send it out to your customer. You can also see what months of the year is this property considered seasonal. So we can see that January, February, and March, this is a seasonal apartment. And then again, October, November, and December. Aside from that, you want to scroll down and you want to make sure that you read all of your remarks and in some cases, your broker remarks. So when it comes to your remarks, they are going to share some information that's very important to you. So for example, just looking at this one, condo is rented until April 30th, showing after the date by appointment, rental periods from October 1st to 6 months, right? So these are all information that when it comes to short-term rentals, you have to really review and read. This is not the best type of rental to create, for example, an automated email. You don't want to do that because there's so many details when it comes to the short-term rental. But aside from that, other things that you want to make sure that you verify is going to be, of course, any of your commission that you are going to be making on that. You also want to verify those details. And you also want to report anything that you see is incorrect. Okay, so if you do see something that happens to be wrong, we also like to let you know about this as part of the association is right up at the top. Report data error. So if you see anything that's not correct, help us all work together in order for us to let the MLS know that there's something there that's not correct. So for example, I reported a few days ago that there was not commission information listed in a listing. I was like, how did that even submit? But it wasn't there. So you report it. Anything that you see that's a sale that's being sold for $3, property for sale that's $3. Sometimes it's an error on the agent. We all input it. We all make mistakes. So this is that button that you want to click, report. It's going to give you the listing error where you can let the MLS know what happened. You can also suggest how they can correct it and then submit to send that form. So the benefit of this is we all have better listings that we're looking at. Another benefit is your information is not given at this point. You are just reporting. So if you're shy and you think the other agent's going to call you and say, hey, they're not, they don't have your details. Okay. But it's a big help. Now, inside of Matrix, another option that I wanted to show you is going to be under market reports. Under market reports, you can do quite a lot of reporting on here. And to get to know your inventory is a great way to be familiar with what's happening in the market. So towards the bottom, under general, you have an inventory report that you can pull. So selecting here will allow you to just kind of see the inventory that's happening in the market in your area. First, you would select a range. So at this time, it's going to start from February 1st to the 22nd. If I wanted to update that information, I'm going to click on the calendar icon. I'm then going to move it so that I'm starting on the 22nd of January. So I have like 30 days, right? I have like a month worth. And from here, you can select your property type. We're going to do residential rental in this class. And then from here, you can choose a specific city, right? Area or geographic area. You can even go big and do county of the inventory, right? So in this example, I'm going to select Aventura, and then I'm going to tap on generate report. This is going to give me access to great information that I can preview with some totals towards the bottom. This is a great way to figure out whether you want to practice your rentals in this area and what activity is available. You also get an average price for this area, right? So you have the number of active or were active properties during these 30 days, how many active with a contract, how many were canceled, expired, pending, etc., with the total towards the bottom. You have your total prices, your average prices. So the average price for a rental in Aventura was $5,050, right? That's pretty steep, but that is the price, and it's only on the market for a whole 11 days. So this is what we're looking at when it comes to rentals in Aventura. But aside from that, we want to talk about additional programs that you have in your Miami Gateway that have to do with rentals. So moving out of Matrix, and we're going to be talking about a program called Utility Connect. We're also going to be talking about Rental Beast. And as I continue to scroll down, we're also going to be talking about, see if I find it. Landlord Station and My Rental Tenant Screening. So these are different ways that you can do a screening for a customer. And sometimes they are going to ask you for a background and you want to go ahead and be able to pull that information. These systems allow you to request that information without having for you to manually input all of those personal details, and also allowing your consumer or your potential customer to input their credit card information and pay for it. So it makes it very seamless. The first one that I want to check off is going to be My Rental Tenant. I'm going to open this up. You do have multiple programs at the association that the whole idea is for us to be able to give you an option, because not everyone is going to like to use the same. So from here, you'll have your rental applications as well as your screenings. Now, when it comes to a screening, we're going to tap on screening. And these are your different options. So you have your basic option, and underneath your, I don't want this to slide. Underneath your basic option, it's going to give you a list of everything that's included with the price point for your customer. So the standard price is $24.99, but being a member with the association, it's $17.49. You can select this option. It's going to give you an eviction history, previous address history, a terrorist check, multi-state criminal report, and a multi-state sex offender report. You also have the premium option. So this is $24 that you can select. It's going to give you all of the above, but it's also going to include your credit report, applicant pay option, safe rent score, average score by geography, and the landlord acceptance rate. And we do have an example that we're going to preview, but let's say you don't need all of that. You just need a specific document. You can select what you need. So for example, if your owner is only asking for a credit report, you can select credit report. You have the different options available here with their prices. Now, what does this report look like that you're going to be submitting? This is your example of the premium. We have our tenants up at the top. They have listed 3 children. It looks like they did not see the finale of this show. And you have your safe rent that's available here. It's going to be comparing key stats or key factors, and it's going to give them a risk assessment based on all of their information. It's also going to compare their score to the average safe rent score by geography. So not only is it going to give them a number, but giving the other reference or the comparison will give the landlord more of an idea of what that score means. Scrolling down, you have any alerts that were populate would be syndicated onto this report. And you'll also be able to compare each process or each segment of the report with the multiple applicants all at one view. So it's very convenient to submit and to do, right? So this is option 1. Let me exit out of here. If you were to select one of the reports, you would simply tap on select and you have a widget up at the top that'll allow you to go through the property information, applicant details, and payment information. If you need additional help, you do have frequently asked questions on the right-hand side, and you do have a contact system where you can contact them. I'm not going to process a person, so I'm not going to go through that process, but it really is user-friendly and it guides you through the process in just a few clicks. If you are not aware that you can do this, you can. And you have another option. So we're going to go through the other option on the gateway. You also have Landlord Station. Now, a positive about Landlord Station is that on a monthly basis, the association will give you 1 free credit report. So if you're doing 1 rental a month or you just need to screen 1 person, the association will allow you to do 1. From here, you're able to log in and it's going to give you the details or the benefits that you have as a realtor with the association. It will give you the monthly cost is at no cost. You can do one per month. You do get that free tenant screening with a value of $22, but you do have additional discounts of 20%. This will also store all of these applications inside of the system. You don't have to store them outside. And then you can also have 2 active listings as part of this system without having to additionally upgrade. All right, so from here, when you work with Landlord Station, your first step should be to add in that property. So when you click on properties, you want to add that property by tapping the plus sign, add new property into the system before you do the tenant screening. Once you've added the property, which is going to ask you for, let's just open that up, whether it's going to be a single property or a property with multiple units, we're going to input the unit details, the address of the property, and you're going to put in the rental amounts and the rent due date. From here, you can also add in your tenants, but you're okay if you simply add property. That's towards the bottom. Once you add the property, then you can go back into your dashboard or simply select tenant screening. From here, you're also able to see any of your previous tenant screenings that were created in your system. To begin a new one, you would tap on order new screening. From here, you have different options. You have a basic, which is your free one, $17.60. You have your plus, which is $22.40, your premier, which is $30.40 per tenant, and then your platinum. What's included is available up at the top so that you can verify what you want to select. From here, you can see what's included in the basic and the plus and the premier and the platinum before you make a decision. Moving back into your platform, I wanted to show you that you also have Utility Connect that's available. This is here. So I'm going to tap on Utility Connect. This is at no additional cost for you, no additional cost for your tenant, and no additional cost, well, I said for you and for your tenant. So that's for everybody. So from here, you would simply tap on activate the free service. It's going to give you automatically a website. So let me open up my mail. Utility Connect is basically a service that you can use to help your consumer switch out their utilities at no additional cost. This is the website. You can always add it to your own website, your pages, etc. From here, you'll have this website that you can share. If you are working with a tenant, you can send them over this information. You will receive your own toll-free number. You will receive your own webpage, and they can tap on set up free services to use it. As they scroll down, these are all of the services that they can call to get connected: electricity, phone, gas, TV, security, etc. As I continue to scroll down, we have testimonials of other agents and consumers using it, and then getting in touch with them is easy. This number will allow your consumer to get in contact with Utility Connect. This is your private number. This was assigned to me when I claimed the service. And then also you as the agent, if you'd like, you can either give the number or you can have the agent input their information so that the system can get in contact with them, or Utility Connect can. And then you can tap on request callback. If you want additional help and you want to help them with mail forwarding, you can input the information or have the consumer input the information. So you're saving them time. This is also an additional layer of service that you're offering that is at no additional cost. The next option that I wanted to show you is that you have Rental Beast. This is a fairly new application that is now part of your association of realtors. This is basically a educational system. You can also search through this system, but this system is only going to have rental properties inside. It'll also have additional properties syndicated with communities that you can find on, for example, apartments.com. It'll all be syndicated to Rental Beast. But I like to show this during our rental class because you have a lot of great information that's available here. You have an A through Z guide of virtual rental transactions as at no cost. You can get this guide. It gives great pointers that you can review at a different date. And of course, I can always share it with the office and we can get those out to you guys. We can email those details, or you can simply visit Rental Beast to receive this guide. Inside of Rental Beast Lite, you also have another way that you can do a tenant screening. So we're going to open this up, and this is where you're able to search in order for you to view other listings inside of Rental Beast, and then you have your applications. So when I tap applications, you can initiate one up at the top left-hand corner, and this will give you the ability to get that started. So you have 3 different ways that you can do a screening. Now let's talk about Remind. We're going to talk about Remind and a specific area. And we're going to target or create a campaign to target potential renters in an area. And this is if you want to transition that renter to a potential buyer, for example. Inside of this system, let me find Remind for you. It's here. And we did go over quite a lot of information about the applications. If anybody has a question, let me know. Let me know in the chat, or if you guys are all okay. Everyone's okay following along?
Do any of those programs allow the agent to work like this is sent to the tenant, so the tenant can pay for the application?
Yeah,
Training, or
as you go
have
through
to-
the process, it'll allow them to pay for the screening information.
So you can't send it to them where they can put in the information, or you have to have the credit card to put it?
The tenant screening, you just put in their name and you put in the address, you put their email address, and it sends the credit card and their information
That's what I
directly.
was wondering.
The way you wouldn't need to input their credit card information, it will send them a link. Thank you for that. She's like, I used it, guys. Awesome. So was it user friendly? Yeah,
Super user friendly.
super. Okay, good. And which one was that one? The
My tenant.
My tenant screening. Kenya is good inside the chat. All right, guys. So moving into the search, the first step that you want to do inside of Remind, has anybody ever used Remind before? Hands?
Well, we had trainings and stuff like that.
You have done the trainings?
More or less, I don't know, some of. Yeah, it's great, great.
Good.
That's, the one that you use.
That is a great option for the mobile. We are working with Remind Pro. The association is working with the team of Remind. We are adding additional features to Remind, additional search fields to the application. Remember that Remind initially was a prospecting tool. So this tool was always intended to help you prospect and find potential customers. It was also intended for you to share it with a potential customer to do some searches. So it wasn't such a thorough search like Matrix, for example. But the Miami Association of Realtors has purchased Remind. We are part owner of Remind. And so they're working together to make it a better program. They're also working on reclaiming data. From here, the first thing you want to do is you want to click on your name and you want to make sure that you updated your settings. So when you tap on settings, make sure to upload your photo. Make sure to review your information. If you're interested in downloading that application, this is the email that they're going to ask for. And this is the phone number that they have in place. Now, if your information on any of the products and services that we talked about today is not correct, send an email to membership@miamire.com and they'll update things like your email address, your phone number, etc. Or of course, you can always ask your office for that assistance. As I scroll down, you want to make sure that you've edited all your profile preferences. So I'm going to tap on the edit button and you want to verify that you've uploaded or inputted. You can, your license number, your display name, your email address, your phone number, and you also have a field for additional information. As I continue to scroll down, you have your profile that's automatically going to be built out for you. This address is going to be built out based on the display name that you inputted into the system. You cannot change the address once it's populated for you. You can change your display name, but the address will remain the same. Now, before prospecting, we always show you how to do this because you have a social page that you can share. So if you've done training on this, you've previewed this before, and this is a great way for you to prospect to have additional possible customers. Now, if you're sharing this with a person that's interested in buying a property, once they register with you, you will receive a notification. They will let you know that that is your new customer. They'll send you an email. But aside from that, your customer is also able to potentially receive if they choose to, a soft pull credit score. Now, that is a great aspect for us because as agents, we're automatically giving them value. And aside from that, normally for a credit score, we would have to send them to either a mortgage broker, a bank. They would have to pull it themselves. For them to get a soft pull is a great option for them. Aside from that, you will receive a range. So they'll receive a full number, so 650 maybe, and then you'll receive whether it was good, poor, excellent. So then now that you have this range, you know how to help that person, right? It kind of gets you ahead of the ball. Aside from that, as you scroll down, this is also great for a person who's interested in selling their property. If they start their journey here with you within Remind, they can also receive an automatic valuation of their property, which of course they can go ahead and claim that profile. They can review the details. And aside from that, you as the agent will get notified of that function, right? As I scroll up, what we are sharing includes very clean picture up at the top, the logo of your company. People can sign up very easily with the name and email address, your headshot, and of course it has this nice little message, welcome to my page. Please check out any of these listings. Contact me if you have any questions. They'll also have your social media available here. Your license number, your email address, and your phone number is listed. You're also able to see broker information, and that person or you can share your profile. You can share it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or you can copy the link to share it. So if you want to share it through text, you can, or you can share it through email. WhatsApp is also an option. You have an additional field section here. So anything you want to add, you can. So going back into Remind, this is that additional field, and this is what we're currently filling out. Choosing an image in the background is very easy. We were just inside of your social profile and reviewing your link. Here's where you would upload your company logo, and you can choose one of the images that have been provided for you simply by clicking it to have it as your background image. If you have your own image that you want to upload, you can. Your ideal dimensions are up at the top. And then the welcome message that I read to you guys, everybody has that. But if you want to customize it, tap on edit, and it'll give you the space to customize. Social media, they've done a great job of adding all of your social media. Tap on edit and input all of your details, including your Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube addresses. When you're inputting this information, you don't want to just put in the handle. You want to put in the full address for it to capture correctly. If you don't put anything, for example, I didn't put anything in WhatsApp, it won't populate on the page. Scrolling down, you want to make some decisions about your page, whether you want to have it populate your active listings and your recently sold listings. If you do, toggle these on, and you have the option to allow clients to request an offer on their homes. If you want to toggle this on, you can. And then you have additional notifications that you want to preview. When it comes to chat, which to tell you the truth, many agents don't use the chat inside of Remind, but you do have the ability to receive chat from other agents, and you can toggle to receive email notifications anytime you get a chat. You also can cart property, which we're going to do now. When you cart property, you're carting specific addresses, and then you can always receive notifications of any changes to those properties. You can choose to receive an email on any changes, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, or never. As I scroll down, you should be a pro user. If you are not a pro user, please email membership@miamire.com. And then if you want to receive that mobile link so that you can download it, click on the link, and it'll give you the space to input your phone number. Once you input it, tap on send, and you'll receive that email link shortly to your phone. All right, now let's do a search. So tapping on search, you have quite a lot of filters that you can use. So I'm going to clear all of my filters. And I've heard that you guys have had some training, but you can search Remind based on address, city, zip code, neighborhood, and more. If you're interested in specific area, I'm going to simply look up the area of Pembroke Pines. Once you select the city of Pembroke Pines, you have the ability to apply this filter, tapping on this icon, and it will map out the Pembroke Pines area. You then are able to sort through the information. Well, let me clear all my fields. Select Pembroke Pines. All right, and from here, you're able to sort through this information. If you select listings, these are properties that have been on the MLS or currently are on the MLS. If you're interested in prospecting, then properties is where you want to be. Aside from that, you can use your list of filters and your list of layers in order for you to create campaigns. So the idea is you don't want to send a marketing message to an entire neighborhood of people who might not really be interested in your message. You want to be able to target a specific bunch of people that are more prone to really appreciating your message so that you get a better result. Also, it's going to be a little easier on your pocket. And since it is, you're more likely to continue to do that campaign. So from here, some of the layers that I want to choose is going to scroll down, and I want to choose building type. I want to work specifically with single family homes. Aside from that, I'm going to choose absentee. And from absentee, you have the option to sort through this information, whether you want to see corporate owned properties, owners that are actually living in the property, absentee in state. That means that they are not living in the home, but they're living in the state. And then you have absentee out of state. That means they're not living in the home and they're not living in the state of Florida. So if I were to select these two, probably these properties are rented out, right? And that's the whole idea if I'm working on a campaign specifically targeting renters. Now, at this time, I do have quite a lot of results. You can always draw on your map or update your search to include a specific community or a specific zip code. So I'm going to get really close onto my map and I want to focus on a specific area. All right, so I wanted to hover in this area until I see the different parcels. What are parcels? They're these small shapes inside of the map, and it's going to give you the results based on what I've selected. And what I've selected is up at the top. I've also have off market available here. I can find off market where it says add filters. From here, if you want to pin anything, you would tap this icon. So from here, I'm going to simply select off market just to make sure I'm not targeting any properties that are currently active in the MLS. And then I'm going to select all of these. From here, if I wanted to do this campaign, I can simply cart these properties. So I'm going to tap on cart and it's going to give me access to name them. So I'm going to do Pembroke Pines Rent to Buy campaign. I'm going to add my 24 properties to this cart. And then I'm going to look for my cart. I'm going to tap on cart. And I'm going to have a list of all of the carts that I've created so far. Here is my current list. From here, I'm going to select them. And then I have a few options on how I can prospect. So for example, let's say I already have flyers, I already have marketing material, and all I need is the actual label, right? And I'll slap it on there. I'll go to the post office and I'll send it out. Your option is to tap on more. This will give you access to printing mailing labels. So as I tap on print mailing labels, you have here the selections that you want to make. And these are really important if you want to target the renter. So when it comes to the recipient, you want to choose current resident, not the property owner, right? Because we want to target the renter. And then when it comes to the property address, you want to select the property address. So the physical property instead of the mailing address. Mailing address will probably go to the owner. Okay, so you want to select property address. And then depending on the Avery label that you have, you can choose it and tap on print labels. From here, these are all your labels, right? They're all created. You have the addresses. I'm ready to market. Now, let's say you're like, Christy, I don't want to go to the post office. I don't want to create a postcard. I just want to do it all from my house or from my office. you have an option. So let's go back into Remind. And instead of clicking on More, you have Send Mailers. From here, we're going to give it a name. I'm in the same list, guys. I just picked Mailers, Pembroke Pines, and Build My Mailing Campaign. All right, so from here, I'm going to tap on Build Mailing Campaign, and the system is going to automatically take me into PCM Digital. So from here, you're able to see the price point for my pieces. I'm focusing on these 24 people in this community, and then I can select the kind of postage I want. So you have your small postage, your medium postage. You see my price has changed, your large postcard. And as I continue to scroll down, you can do a letter. You can do a yellow letter. You can do a snap apart. And it's going to give you that price point. So if it's a very targeted message, then this is something that you can do on a monthly basis. And then you can tap on Choose Design to move forward. And this way you can do the marketing from home inside of Remind, all done. And as people begin to write back to you, and as people begin to interact with you, which will not be on your first mailers, guys, you're not going to send one postcard and everyone's going to call you. Okay, we wanted to show you in this way because the statistic shows you want to send it out anywhere between 8 to 12 times. So that's why you have the variety of marketing. And this is just for people to start recognizing you in the industry as somebody that's part of this community. So from here, I wanted to show you in Remind. Let me exit out of here. You have the name of your cart. You know what you're sending out, and it's a small batch. When it comes to small batches, that means you have more control about what you're doing. So you're able to assign additional notes, right? Whether they're going to be private or shared. So as people begin to communicate with you, you can keep up with managing your customers from here. And you also have, if I click on the address, an entire property card that I can preview. So if they have questions for me and I have to get ready, I'm going to rush to my manager, number one. But I'll rush to my manager with a property card, and at least I have all of the information that we can start discussing together. So from here, you're able to see some pictures. You're able to see public record information. You'll have access to map details, flood risk details, location details, even a street view of where that property is located. Okay, so from here, here's your parcel view. If it is in an area of a flood risk, location details, where is it located? And again, we already saw that street view. As I continue to scroll down, you see key stats on this property, building features, as well as most recent tax information. If I tap on See All, you have more details. So one of the benefits of Remind is not only is it available to view information that you would find on the MLS, but it's also a premium tax roll service. So you have the ability to preview information on both sides. You have net equity estimates available for you, lot size details, tax and assessment details, assessment value information, market value information, and even property history. You have access to mortgage history details, the schools in the area, and then you have a valuation that's been provided. Now, how did they assign this value? They've actually reached out to to various aggregator sites that have their own estimates. And based on these estimates and the last time that they've been updated, which is pretty current, right? They have inputted this. Now, as a professional real estate agent, you are also at liberty to add your own suggested value. As you continue to scroll down, you have demographics on a property. So you're able to see the percentage of college graduates, how many have children, what's the percentage, the average household, the average income, as well as the average age. You also have access to ownership and associated people information. So in this case, I do not have owner details, but you also have associated people. And on here, we do have contact information. So they've done a really good job of adding not only phone numbers, but email addresses. They've also done another good job of making sure to flag those DNCs. So if somebody has reported their number and added it to the do not call list, it will be flagged as a DNC number. We don't want to call people who don't want to receive phone calls from us. So make sure that we do not reach out to people with a DNC, right? But you can email them and you can begin to communicate with them if you'd like. Now, if I wanted to add this information, let me tap on back, and I wanted to print it, I can. Let me scroll up. You're able to print this information. So as I tap on print, you can either print a public record or a public record full. From here, you can decide what information you'd like to add on here. So for example, some people don't like to have the valuations added. Some agents just like to have their own, right, CMA that they did or their own opinion on what they did. Or they like to let their consumer know, hey, look, I know you saw your property on all of these addresses. I saw it too, right? And this is why it's right and this is why it's wrong, for example. But you can choose what you'd like to have selected and then you can print that page. We're going to give it a second to give us the PDF. So the schools in the area, great question, Kenya. We are working on that. So how they decided to put the schools in the area is they put them in based on grade of school. They're working on that. Great question. All right, we're going to give this a second to load. And it's on the bottom right-hand corner. And you have that overview of that information. So up at the top, nice, important, prominent information, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, square feet, potential net equity, property type, HOA information, owned for 24 years. Here are the owners, all of the details on those taxes, Publix, XYZ. Now, this is a better fit for a campaign that has to do with a listing for a seller. But I wanted to show you that it has this property card so that you're aware of it. Also, you've done training on Remind. So if they have any other follow-up Remind classes, I hope I've given you enough that you're like, hey, I want to come back for a prospecting class because it's a really good program. All right, guys. So that is the completion of this class. We talked all things rental today. You guys are amazing. I hope that you guys received a lot of value from all of the programs and services that we have. And I hope to be back soon. If you guys have any questions, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will have the recording for you in a few days. Bye, everyone that is on the chat. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we'll see you guys soon, hopefully in person next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.